Sheikh Gumi has just said that the federal government knows all these terrorists by their names, and he does not go alone to negotiate. He goes with the police, the military, and other security agencies. And what do you think about this? Because the federal government...
I've spoken about Sheikh Gumi before, and if you remember exactly what I said, that he's not a foolish man as people think he is. He's actually a smart person. He might be smart for different reasons, and he might be egregious in his ways. And I just told you what I always known. He's not telling you anything new. All these terrorists are in bed with people in government. Whenever there is mass kidnapping, why do you think that government is able to hear from the terrorists? Because they have their phone numbers. If they call one side, the one in Niger, those ones we give them the telephone number of the one in Katsina. They say, no, it's not us, so it's our friends in Katsina that did it. That's how they know. It's Gumi is not lying.
Shit.
There's no major terrorist and there's no major criminal in Nigeria that is not known to security agencies. But you even find kidnappers doing MCs at the children naming ceremony of police commissioners in Nigeria. They know themselves. They help themselves. I once told you last year that there's a guy who is into fraud that was given an office at the Nigeria Police Headquarters, one Jesha. So how he's not lying. They know all the terrorists. If they want to wipe out the terrorists today, they know where to get them and wipe them out. They know it. I'm not in government, and I'm not any of the security agencies, but I also know that government knows these terrorists. In fact, so many of the terrorists, they call up people in government when they are bored. They say, what's happening now? We haven't been allowing us to operate. We want you to leave some areas for us. So it's very true, he's not lying. And that is why we always say that government in this country is a crime. People in government, yes.
What is the reaction to the Nigerian spokesperson that trying to defend himself? He's trying to defend the government that has already rubbished before the initiative.
We are talking about Daniel Bwala. So my own position is different from everybody. Everybody is talking about Bwala as if it is possible to defend Tinubu. It's not possible. Bwala is just trying, and you see, it doesn't have to even be with the Jazeera guy. But the other thing that surprises me is that, are you expecting Bwala to be successful? All of you are asking us. So if Bwala had been able to present the case very well, would you give him a Nobel Prize? So everybody's making it sound like, oh, he failed. Well, if you are not a failure, why would you join the Tinubu regime in the first place? All of them are in the same WhatsApp group. So you don't want Bwala to fail? That's what surprised me about some opposition people. Their reaction is as if we are expecting Bwala to just go there and just defeat and perform and present Nigeria as an Eldorado where Nigeria is falling apart. It's impossible, So that's why it surprises me that this is my first comment on Bwala's gift. It's not possible to defend Tinubu anywhere. Even if Bwala met a secondary school boy, he would say, I've defeated him. In this age of Google and AI, you can Google and find on AI in Nigeria what is happening as it is happening. Now you can use it to confront any of these guys, But the problem that most people have is that you must understand that the Bwalas of this world, the Reno Mokris of this world, it is hunger that drove them to go to the government. So what do you expect them to do? They have to defend their bellies and their esophagus. That's what took them there. Forget about everything they tell you that, I have a flourishing law practice. This thing. But if your law practice is flourishing, what are you doing rubbishing yourself and your generations yet unborn? Nobody would do that. Definitely something is not flourishing in your life. That's why you're working with Tinubu. And lastly, I'm even sure that Tinubu himself is surprised that Bwala did so terribly bad. But you may not also be surprised that for them, every publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or bad. So they might be praising him. Who knows? With regards to the organ harvesting case, as I told you earlier before the judge came, there is a police report. The Nigeria Police Inspector General's office actually instituted a panel to uncover what was going on after the uproar stemming from the publications and I think Gist Lover, one of the online blogs. And there was a report, but they buried the report because the policemen involved were very highly connected. And but the report, I got hold of some part of the report and was published yesterday. And the report, even though it was trying very hard to indict this fellow, it also went ahead to disclose 11 deaths in 2022 alone, carried out by these policemen at Accûs, RRS. And the police never did anything about it. I also mentioned earlier that all the persons indicted in that report have either been promoted or even been given judicial positions. In fact, the fellow whose case led to the arrest of who was arrested for being a member of IPOB has also been freed on bail. He has been traveling between Turkey and Nigeria doing his business. So the only person that is still left in detention is the whistleblower, this youth corper who wanted to serve his country. That's why a lot of people hate serving Nigeria, because Nigeria will do you dirty. So that's where we are as far as that issue is concerned. We are pushing to ensure that he's released, and we have asked the new Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, to intervene immediately, not to pretend like he didn't see this case, and to intervene in other cases, all these needless and unwarranted arrests, detention and prosecution of persons who are merely expressing themselves. We have asked him to quash all these cases. There's a case of another woman in Lagos, Maureen Badejo, who is a blogger from the UK. The police authorities there connive with pastors, Pastor Suleiman, Apostle Sule woman, and another apostle, another priest in Lagos, Daniel Olukoya, Dr. Daniel Olukoya, to arrest this woman. And the woman was taken to the magistrate court. The magistrate granted her bail. She didn't run away. She went back before a federal high court. The federal high court, won by Justice Akintayo Aloko, sent her to detention. You don't detain somebody when they have been granted bail, and the essence of granting bail is that the person will come back. It's not punishment. And we have asked Disu, I call him Disu, to immediately discontinue all these rubbish cybercrime cases and stop the police from engaging in harassing people in the name of cybercrime. The country is in need of repolicing. As I'm talking to you, Maiduguri has been encircled by Boko Haram. Yes. It's a matter of time before Maiduguri falls if something serious is not done. And your policemen are here paying attention to rubbish. You all are aware, when I said it last time, that a lot of states are going to be besieged by terrorists and bandits. Terrorists is what we know them as, but when they call them bandits, just to make you feel a little better. But they do the same thing. Now, these bandits have reached Ondo State. They have reached Edo State. They have almost taken over Northern Kwara. They have reached Kogi State. The biggest terrorist camps in the country are very close to here, Suleja. And also another huge one is in what's this place called Bajana. In Kogi State. So even Abuja, all of you who are walking around thinking that you have security, Abuja is not safe. Because if the chips are down, the rich people will just use their own personal security to escape. They will leave the ordinary people to suffer their own fate. It is happening, and that's why police must be serious work at this time. Anybody who is in the police force, who is going after people who kill chicken, somebody's collected somebody's wife or girlfriend, it's rubbish policing, and all those people should be fished and pushed out of the police force. And I'm using the opportunity to also talk to the guy who is in charge of the legal department in the police, one AIG now, who I have spoken to personally to discontinue these trials. But I heard that because he's a pastor himself, he wants to help his fellow pastors to prosecute people. And I'm wondering, what are all these pastors? Why do they believe in God if God cannot fight for them? Why? Throughout the reign of Satan, and Satan is still reigning, Satan has never used the police to arrest anybody. Satan don't even trust Nigeria police. Why would you be using police, which is even by biblical standard? Nigeria police is a satanic agency. I'm not saying it just for the sake of saying it, but if you know what policemen do, even God, when God sees what Nigeria police does to his own creation, God himself shakes in his boots. How can pastors then go near such an agency to help them fight ordinary people? The pastor should be fighting the police to reform and sanitize the police. But pastors are deploying police to fight innocent people. That tells you the state of religion in this country as well. Most of these religious leaders, I'm not sorry to say it, they don't believe in God. They are just using God to make money. God is a hustle for them. Otherwise, how can you believe in God and you go and ask police to help you arrest somebody? Instead of you to just ask God to arrest the person. And there's nothing God cannot do. What God cannot do does not exist. I know what they say. So why don't they trust God to fight their battles and they go to police, a godless organization, to go and carry out this fight for them? Yes.
The Electoral Act now stipulates that certificate forgery cannot stop a politician from contesting for office. If they come and they have forged certificates, they cannot stop it.
What do you expect when the president of the country, Nigeria, cannot trace where he got his certificate from? He can't. There is nobody who knows where Tinubu graduated from. Only Tinubu himself knows the university he graduated from, the university he went to secondary school at, the university the primary school he went to. So it's natural that certificate forgery will no longer be a crime. It's going to get to a point where everything you think is a crime will no longer be a crime in this country, including drug peddling. They will soon tell you that it's not a crime to carry cocaine and distribute heroin. That anybody that's doing it is doing legitimate business. So that is why I'm not surprised to hear that certificate forgery, because most of the people in leadership in Nigeria forge their certificates. That's the truth. Tinubu, nobody knows where his certificate came from. Wike has 2 birthdays as a person. Nobody can tell you that this is how Wike actually, where the year he graduated from law school. Everybody's just saying that Wike is a lawyer. And you cannot hear any case that Wike has ever won before as a lawyer. You talk about Akpabio, I think he's a lawyer too. Maybe those ones, I don't know. But anytime you see them in the political circle, just know that they have done something funny and fake with regards to their certificates. So you have a lot of them like that in the system that can't prove to you where they genuinely went to school and who their classmates are and how they graduated. Most of them graduated, they didn't do NYC, and they went and forged the certificates. NYC discharge certificate. I did NYC, I wasn't given a certificate, but I didn't forge the certificate. They are still with it today. I say when they are tired, they'll give it to me. But you have said that APC people is always against rule of law. They're against fairness. They're against transparency. That's what the party represents. So I'm not surprised. But even Tinubu himself, when he was still part of, when he was living the fake of a pro-democracy activist, he was accused of treason. And people defended him at that time to say, look, if you are accused of treason, which is the same thing the soldiers are accused of, you should be given fair trial. Bwala was accused of treason. He was granted bail. It's one of the most popular cases we cite when we are asking for bail for accused persons. That the fact that you are accused of a capital offense does not make you automatically guilty. And anybody who has been accused of treason, if there is a treason case, you should allow them to prepare for trial. Under the military, Everybody accused of treason was allowed to defend themselves. And you see them, they will show them, they allow their families to visit with them. So why should we be under democracy and people are accused of any offense for that matter? And we already presume that they are guilty because we are accused of it. So what happens to presumption of innocence? So I don't pay attention to all those APC people. They should be careful. And it's very important. One day they will be out of office. They will be accused of offenses and they will not be running after looking for Sowore to come and help them fight for their innocence. We just talked about Malamitu here, who was here today. That's how they used to behave. They will grant people bail, they will be cordial, and they will not respect it. Now, they're asking for respect for rule of law. The same thing with Rufai. When he was governor in his state, they did as if the world started and ended with them. Now, they're asking for the rule of law, transparency. They're asking for fair trial. What we're asking for is fair trial. And if you don't have any case against them, just swallow your pride and let them go. It's so simple as that. So but they know the game they are playing. Because if they've been detained for 5 months, now going to 6 months, and you claim publicly that you have already concluded your investigation, put them on trial. There's no big deal about that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The U.S., we spoke earlier about insecurity and how it's affecting here. And the U.S. has warned of a terror attack in Nigeria on their Nigerian embassy. Do you think they are trying to use this war to Nigeria, or it's just attacking?
The U.S. don't need to tell you that there will be a terrorist attack before you should know there will be. I just mentioned to you, Maiduguri is surrounded, Abuja is surrounded, Lagos probably they already have like many cells there. So the U.S. don't need to tell you anything to know that. And as to whether the attack on Iran Donald Trump has already started a third world war. He just hasn't announced it. Because anytime you have this scale of attack, when you are using weapons that have never been introduced before, everybody in the world will be alarmed and they are all joining in somehow. Everybody is already allied in a way. So, and to say that, to be asking whether Nigeria is part of Nigeria was introduced into Donald Trump's war in December 2025. He bombed, without notification, he bombed Nigeria. What do they call war other than that? Just wake up on Christmas Day and somebody threw a bomb into your country. If we had capacity and we had leadership, do you think we would not be at war with America by now? We would have thrown a bomb back too. If we had the capacity like Iran, we would have thrown some bomb, but we don't have any bombs that is functioning. You know, they have embezzled the money for everything. So, if Nigeria were to be Iran, do you think we will not respond on the 25th? We would have responded. So, we are already involved in the war. We are just managing our own low key because we don't have the capacity to fight an open-ended war. Yes.
Lastly, sir, what do you have to say about the removal of Fakorede from his office?
You know, those ones are like things I don't pay too much attention. They are temporary. It's just like the removal of my Boy Scout friend, Ben 1010, what do they call it name? Who came to do CWS in Abuja. His industrial attachment, 6 months is gone. But the only thing I have to say is that these are individuals that I had cause to warn. When Ben 1010 was coming to Abuja, this palace jester had just left, Muyiwa Adejobi. And I warned him, I said, look, if you come and do the nonsense Muyiwa was doing here, because I see him and Muyiwa, they're like sidekicks. I said, if you come and do it, you'll be disgraced. And that's what came to pass. And he made one of the greatest blunders in his life, defending somebody who you didn't have to defend. Victor Agbetokun is not a member of the police force. Why are you defending that he got 100 million naira accidentally into his account? Why didn't I get the money deposited accidentally into my account? Well, because they're all stupid people. With regards to Fakorede hasn't met even what is coming his way yet, and that's what I want to say. He was the one who, by the way, in September got the contract to arrest me, prosecute me. I was one who sent a CBSP to come and break my hand at the FID. And I remember when we were doing the interrogation, I said, Fakorede, I know you very well because I know that you went and took this contract. You went to meet the IG that I can handle Sowore. So this is the last job you will do before you will go down. And he's a very pompous guy because he's also a lawyer. He's a guy that's been in this impunity for a long time. He has done SARS before. They've killed people and gotten away with it. He used to be in Port Harcourt defending Amechi versus. So he's very, very well versed in impunity. And his reply was that there's nothing. He said, you don't know me. I will show you who I am. I said, no problem. So by the time we were done with that case, he knew that it was a different situation. But of course, this guy was still there, Egwetokun. So it was same Fakorede that then went and applied to get all my bank accounts, if you guys remember, so that he can use it to blackmail me. I told him again, Fakorede, this is going to be your last assignment. He refused to listen. When he went and arrested this Tracy Nita, I called him. I said, Fakorede, release this woman now. I went there. I saw him personally. Fakorede, I kept warning you. Stop being an asshole. Of course, he said, no, nothing will happen because it's like he takes contracts to do dirty jobs. And I reminded him again. I said, I have told you there will be an end to this. The first phase of his end has come because he's no longer in the IGP. But we are monitoring to ensure his next posting. You can't trust the police. They might even take him to a better place where he can do a better dirty job because they're always looking for people who can do dirty jobs. So we'll wait until he gets his next posting. And privately, I sent me a message that I should look out for his next posting. If it is not traffic, we have a problem with it. If it's not controlling traffic in Abuja, just so that you know, Fakorede, if your next posting is not about controlling traffic in Abuja, we will have a problem with you. But I would advise, if I were to be you, it's time to retire from the police and wait for comeuppance because one day you have to answer for your crimes. That's all I can say.
Just before you go,
yeah. The political space is not different from the security space. It's not different from the economic space. You see that typically when elections are less than a year away, Nigerians are excited. But nobody's talking about elections because nobody's expecting much. People are, and you saw that during the FCT elections, people didn't go out to vote. Elections are practically less than 8 months away. It's next January, and this is March. Yes. And nobody is talking about elections. Nobody's talking about. But we hope that Nigerians can also use this as an opportunity to take decisive action against the political class. When I say political class, you know what I mean. Before you say that Sowore is a politician, no, I'm not in the political class of the politicians that you know. I am a political activist who wants the country to change in a revolutionary way. So, but I just hope that Nigerians can join hands and just disgrace all these people out of the system. But in the midst of it, there's insecurity that we've probably never seen in a long time. There's massive economic problems. People can't feed, can't send their children to school. People can't take care of themselves health-wise. Everything has fallen apart. And on top of that, I don't know what's wrong with Nigeria. This is a time that there's crisis, but you don't even see the president of the country. Everybody knows, you can't tell where the president is. Because as I usually say, and it's not usually, it's the truth, all of them are sick, particularly the president. They're sick. But instead of them to admit that, look, there's nothing wrong with being sick. Even as younger people, when we have malaria, we can't function. If you are sick, just let the country, you can't tie the country down to your health. Nigeria has done that for too long. We had Jazeera, we had Buhari, we had Babangida, who was governing the country with one leg in those days. But like I said, it's not mockery. There's nothing wrong with being sick, but there's something wrong with being sick and holding your country to ransom with your own personal sickness. So that's what I'll tell you. But politically, you will hear from us, but not in the way that you are used to. Thank you very much. Now.